Hey, what's up everyone? It's SKULM here, and today I am going to show you my speed leveling build for Season 1 Necromancer. I am running a Bone Spear build, of course, but in my live stream a lot of people have asked for my speedrun build, and I'm going to share this in a quick video. So, before we start, I just want to quickly show you that in my action bar you will see Corpse Explosion, Bone Prison, Blood Mist, Corpse Tendrils, Bone Splinters, and Bone Spear. For a valid reason, everything will be explained, everything will be revealed. So, let's start with the gear first. Deathless Visage, obviously. You want maximum essence roll as close to as max as possible, and critical strike damage with bone skills. Physical damage, high roll is also plus. That is it. The unique effect does not matter that much. Of course, the higher the better, but it does not matter that much. For chest, you want bone skill damage, intelligence, because vulnerable damage has been nerfed a little bit, so you want some flat damage increase. It also helps to have intelligence. And for the last two stats, focus on something defensive like damage reduction and maximum life. On gloves, we are using the ossified essence legendary aspect. We really want attack speed here, and we really want plus ranks to bone spear. Other than that, crit chance is good. Definitely critical strike damage is awesome. Lucky hit chance is not that good because that is not a direct 10% lucky hit chance. It takes 10% of the skills lucky hit chance. So Bone Spear by default, if you look at lucky hit chance just below the essence cost, has 55% with this item equipped. If I take this item off, the default is 50%. So that 10% is calculated based on the 50%, which makes it 55%. Okay, so that's not a deal breaker in my opinion. Anyway, for legs, we are still going with Disobedience. We want a lot of defensive affixes and stats here. Maximum life is good, total armor is awesome, damage reduction would be perfect on legs. On boots, you definitely want movement speed and essence cost reduction. Dodge chance is an extremely underrated affix. It is great, it helps you stay alive. It is awesome. If you can get it, get it. Evade grants movement speed is really good for Nightmare Dungeons. This build is specifically designed for Nightmare Dungeon push and Nightmare Dungeon speed leveling. I was very lucky to find this sword. This sword does not have the perfect affixes, but it is really close. The item level is good. We have all stats, critical strike damage with bone and critical strike damage. Instead of the lucky hit execute, I would have personally preferred vulnerable damage. That would be awesome, but it is what it is. You basically want core skill damage, vulnerable damage, some crit damage, and intelligence usually. On the neck, again, we got lucky a little bit. Imperfectly Balanced is currently bugged. You can only invest 1 point into that talent, and you cannot invest two more talent points. So I have a neck that grants +3 ranks of the Imperfectly Balanced, which is fine. Usually on the neck, you want movement speed, and you want essence cost reduction. I could not roll an essence cost reduction, however, I compensated by adding some bone skill damage. We have the Grasping Veins aspect on the neck, because this aspect is nerfed, but it is still good. It gives you that required crowd control, and with the Malignant Heart, this is going to be even more important. Now, if you look at the bottom of this bar, you will see a Vicious Heart effect. It says walking near a corpse automatically activates an equipped corpse skill every second, dealing X% reduced damage. Now, we are using this heart just because we need extra essence and we need a lot of crowd control. This helps us massively during Nightmare Dungeons because we don't have to stand still and cast Corpse Explosion. While running, it will automatically start casting Corpse Explosion and Corpse Tendrils. The more corpses you have, the better. So in my bars, I have Corpse Explosion and Corpse Tendrils. It jumps in between those two talents. So it casts Tendril, Explosion, Tendril again, Explosion. It basically goes on back and forth. It is very good. For the ring, this is a really bad ring, as you can see. We just put the Edgemaster legendary aspect. We want to have a Vicious Heart here. That gives us further critical strike damage. Our non-critical strikes deal less damage, but it really does not matter. We are a Bone Spear Necromancer. we rely heavily on critical strike damage. Therefore, we just make sure our critical strike is as hard-hitting as possible. On the ring, we are using a Decrepify one, a Brutal Heart. This is awesome. And on World Tier 4, the requirement of the triggering effect actually lowers to one enemy only. So when at least one enemy is near you, gain an aura that automatically curses surrounding enemies with Decrepify. This is 20% damage reduction. And you don't even have to have Decrepify in your action bar. So if you look at the skill tree, I'm going to show everything, but we have Amplify damage, we have Decrepify, Enhanced Decrepify, and Abhorrent Decrepify for the CDR. This is definitely benefiting the Malignant Heart. I will show you some speedrun clips. You will see a blue aura around me that automatically curses everyone around me. So this is a great Brutal Heart for pushing Nightmare Dungeons. If you want to push higher Nightmare Dungeons, you can think about replacing the Vicious Heart with a Brutal Heart that gives you immunity. So a Bone Spear Necromancer with immunity and Decrepify, and then the aspect of Might will have some great tankiness and some great potential to push the build even further. But this is a speed clear build, so we want to kill enemies as fast as possible while retaining our essence as much as possible. As you notice, we do not use an exposed flesh aspect yet. I have a perfect rolled one, but I'm waiting for a really nice ring. Once we have that, we will eliminate essence problems even further. But right now, this is a speed leveling build, as I said. So how do we maintain our essence? The answer is very simple. We play Bone Prison. Enhanced Bone Prison is buffed. The first target that you cast Bone Prison on grants you 25 essence, plus any extra targets you have in it gives you 5 essence. So this is really great. And then we play the Ghastly Bone Prison because it has a really high lucky hit proc, which can proc huge flesh and create corpses. This will in turn help you get your free corpse tendrils. So usually in an ideal scenario, you would cast corpse tendrils, place everything together, and then cast Bone Prison to gain maximum essence. This is an essence generator. Think of it as an essence generator basically. So we put only 2 points into Bone Splinters. I call it Teeth because it's from Diablo 2, obviously. Imperfectly Balanced is bugged. I have only 1 point here, but you see item contribution 3, so it should be level 4 here. It doesn't show because it is bugged, as I said. Unlimited Energy maxed, Youth Flesh maxed, Bone Spear maxed, obviously, and then Paranormal Bone Spear. Okay? So only 1 point in Blood Mist. It gets a lot of CDR because we are playing Abhorrent Decrepify and it's usually always active. We have 1 point into Corpse Explosion because we are playing a Vicious Heart that triggers this. So it actually gives us essence from Grim Harvest, because even while running, if we have corpses around, it will proc it, and then we will gain essence basically passively. And of course, that will give us 9% increased damage as well. Since we have Decrepify permanently applied, we also benefit from Amplify damage. If we actually curse an enemy, we gain 12% increased damage to that enemy. Death's Embrace max, Death's Reach max, Corpse Tendrils for extra vulnerability, it doesn't hurt that much. Of course, Serration, Compound Fracture, and Evulsion maxed. These are nerfed, but they're still pretty effective. Standalone and Memento Mori maxed, then Ossified Essence. Again, this build helps us retain our essence without playing Exposed Flesh. Once you get Exposed Flesh, you can drop Bone Prison, and you can play Bone Storm instead. That will give you more critical strike damage chance, more damage reduction, and you know, it's really good actually. It's a great ultimate ability. So that is the skill tree for the Paragon. Again, this is a speed leveling Paragon. It is not an endgame version, but it is pretty straightforward. You take Prime, you take Gravekeeper here because it grants bonus to all rare nodes within range. And look at this rare node. It's damage. And this is armor and intelligence. So these get buffed by Gravekeeper. As you can see on top, you will see in green text 20% damage, 200 armor, and plus 20 intelligence. So this gives us further damage, okay? That's why we play it. You can also activate it by investing more dexterity into your Paragon board, and then you will get the additional bonus, which is great as well. Right now, we're kind of rushing into other boards, The second board is of course Bone Graft. We need damage as soon as possible because we want to clear everything fast. We are a speed clear build. We take maximum essences and then we put Sacrificial here. Again, Sacrificial grants bonus to magic nodes. Now we have Shaper of Bone. We have these magic nodes. So it gives us 17.1% bone skill damage, which is giga in my opinion. Then we connect to the third board here, which is Flesh Eater. Since you're running around and casting automatic corpse explosions, this will get procced a lot, very often. You don't have to stand still, you just run around with corpses, it will proc a lot. So you get Stifle for extra critical strike damage, and then you make your way into the Glyph Socket. I will update this build even further towards the end game, of course. The speedrun clips that I'm about to show you did not have Flesh Eater. I was lower level, but now I have it, so it's going to be even better. So you can get way more power this way. For the Book of the Dead, we are sacrificing Skirmishers, Old Mages, and Iron Golem. These are the best choices. I'm not going to go into much detail here. Again, if you want to push harder keys, you can choose the Brutal slot and get an immunity here, but this is again a speedrun fast kill build. So I'm gonna leave it to you and I'm gonna show you some speedrun clips. I hope you enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe.